the planes we flew, good things we've been through.
Hello everyone, my name is Jordan and welcome to another episode of the Bukkit coding tutorial series here on my channel. And today we're going to be working with a plugin called New Votifier, I think, and it is essentially a better version of Votifier. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make our own voting rewards system here. It's also going to track the amount of votes users have done in a certain amount of time. Well, not in a certain amount of time, just the amount of votes that users have done. And first of all, to go ahead and get started here, we need to go ahead and download New Votifier. Of course, I already have it downloaded, but I just wanted to walk you through how to do this. Go ahead and go to Google and just search up New Votifier. And then this Spigot link should pop up. It's just spigotmc.org/resources/New Votifier, and then this number here. And now we should be good to go. Just go ahead and download that. If you are already running Votifier or Votifier on your server, go ahead and remove those from the server, because this is going to be a basically standalone plugin, and we won't need we don't need these two because this is a replacement for them. And also, if you have any other plugins such as GA Listener, this is going to replace that as well. And I think we should be good to go. Awesome. Let's go ahead and move that back over there. Pop that back up. And let's go ahead and begin. So we have our main class, just a basic thing. I haven't touched it yet. Let's go ahead. Oh, and one more thing I actually wanted to say. I'm going to be trying to use this new keyboard I got for Christmas with this tutorial. And if it doesn't work out or if it sounds too clicky, I will switch back to the laptop's keyboard. I just wanted to see how it works and see if this would be a little bit better for me, because it is a little easier than to move my arms up all the way to get the keyboard on the laptop. So let's go ahead and begin. Go ahead and create a vote listener class here, and it's going to have to implement listener and all that jazz. And then let's go ahead and make our event. So add event handler, public void on player vote, and then I think it's vote. Would be vote player vote. No, vote something. Hold on. It's Votifier event. Okay. So what we don't actually want, the one from Bungie here. This is if we're doing a Bungie-sided plugin, because this works with Bungie as well. So you do need to make sure you have everything configured right if you are using Bungie. But we're not for this tutorial. We're just using a basic offline server. Not offline, but a basic locally hosted server. So we're going to need to not import from Bungie, and we're going to go ahead and go with the Votifier event that is for Spigot. So now we have our Votifier event here. Go ahead and make a vote or get the vote object here and import their vote there. So now we can use all these things here. I'm not sure if we're not going to need serialized, but we can get the username here. So who voted? We can get when, we can get where from, and we can get the address. I feel like that's the IP. I'm not sure what else that would be. But I'm not sure if we're going to use that or timestamp. We're just going to use username and the service name. Now what we're going to do is we're going to need to go ahead and go down into here. We're going to make a public in get votes player. And for now we're just going to return -1. Just so we don't have an empty method there. And then we also need a player object here. So player equals needs to be bucket.getPlayer vote.get username. And then if player equals null. So basically what this is doing here is if the player is offline. So right here what we're doing is we have our vote object, and we're going to see if the player that voted is online, is on the server, which usually they would be. I'm not sure why they wouldn't be, but you never know. We're going to actually, before we do that, we need a UUID object here. So UUID equals null. Alright, and so if the player is null, UUID is going to be equal bucket.getOfflinePlayer from vote.getUsername.get unique ID. And then otherwise, UUID is just going to be equal to player.get unique ID. So now we have the player's UUID. We can do a lot of things here. First of all, we're going to be using the offline player object just a little bit. We're not going to be defining it, but we are going to be using bucket.getOfflinePlayer.getName from this UUID here. So I don't think that's deprecated, but getting a offline player from a username is currently deprecated. I'm not actually sure why. I should probably look into that. But this is what we have so far. So when the player votes, we are checking if they're online or offline and then saving their UUID here. And that's all we are. That's all we're at now. Now let's go ahead and do a broadcast here. So bucket.broadcast message, and I actually should probably pull this up so I have useful Unicode symbols. Let's go ahead and copy this one. We're going to say, oh, that's weird. Why is it invisible? Can I not use this in IntelliJ? Maybe not. Yikes. I thought I was going to be able to use a Unicode thing here. Let me go ahead and get a Unicode arrow really quick. Unicode arrow. Just because I want an arrow for this to make it look nice. This is difficult. There's so many arrows to choose from. Let's just go with, you know what? Let's just go with that one. Whatever. Boom. Alright, so that one works. So now we can go ahead and design a vote message here. Let's actually go ahead and say chat color, and then let's translate from our and symbol. And now we're going to say and 6NL vote, and A, and then our symbol here. And then, whoops, chair. This chair is annoying. I need to replace it. Votes, and then we're going to go ahead and say, well, let's go ahead and actually change the color. Well, no. We'll make the vote message here kind of bluish. We're going to say bucket.getOfflinePlayer from that UUID .getName has voted at, and then we're going to say vote.getServiceName! Exclamation point. So whenever they vote, that's just going to happen. We can actually test that now. Well, actually, no, we can't because we need a test vote command, because you can actually spoof a vote, which is how we're going to be testing it. It's a very simple thing to do. But the reason we're going to spoof it is because we can't really set up a server right now to actually do it. But trust me, this will work. This is just the listener side of things, so it'll only work if you set up your system properly. And actually, so we want to verify that all this is working thus far. So we're gonna go ahead and make that test command I was talking about just a second ago. And really quick, we're just going to say vote equals new vote, and it's going to take in, what does it require? A JSON object. Let me go ahead and figure out how I did it with another project here, because I've done this before. I just don't remember exactly how I spoofed it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to say the website name is going to be www. What should we do? We're just going to know spigotmc.org is the website. The person who voted is going to be the sender. .getName. We're just gonna say like 1,000 here and 1,000 there. I think that's the yeah, it's something to do with this the time stamp and something else. So now what we can do is, now that we have our vote here, well, what are we gonna do with this vote? We can't really do anything. We just have a standalone vote. There's nothing we can do here unless we throw it in a vote. So votifier event equals new votifier event, and that's going to be from vote. And then all we have to do is say get server.getPluginManager.call event, and then votifier event. So that's right down here. And we just called the event. So first of all, we want to actually tell the sender that their fake vote is processing, and this actually is very instantaneous. But we just want to make sure that they know it's working. So we're going to say chat color.green. Your vote is now processing. We want to go ahead and say Your fake vote is now processing because it is a fake vote. Now we can go ahead and copy this here. And we're going to say like completed or something. Completed. So it's going to have all this stuff, and then it'll have the completed message. We actually need to go ahead and make a plugin.yml really quick. We also need to register our listener. So the name here is going to be voting or something like that. The main is going to be your package, of course. Gotta make sure I type this in right. ep27.main. Version is going to be 6.9. Commands, and our only command is going to be fake vote with a description of give the server a fake vote. And let's go ahead and register our listener here. So get server.get plugin manager.register events new vote listener this. We need to actually go ahead and make our artifacts here. Whoops, I did that wrong. And now let's go ahead and remove these here. Boom, boom. And now I can go ahead and pull my server over in just a second. I already have new votifier not set up, but it's on the server. So let's go ahead and start the server. And we don't even need to pull an account online yet. We're just gonna go ahead and test the command and show that this works. So what did I do? Okay, so we actually need to depend on votifier really quickly. So let's go ahead and say depend. And the name of the plugin is votifier. From a developer standpoint, it's new votifier. I mean votifier, not new votifier. My bad. Let's go ahead and copy this over. It just registers as new votifier to save. Not save, but do stuff. Alright, so now we can go ahead and fake vote here. Your fake vote is now processing. And there we go. So vote. Console has voted at www.spigotmc.org, which is exactly what we put right here. The command sender is console, so of course it's going to have that. And you can see it's all formatted nicely. And we can go ahead and go from here. So now what we can do is we need to get the configuration file. We're gonna do some magic here. So we're gonna say if well, hold on, we actually need to make an instance in here. So private static main instance equals null, instance equals this, and a public static main get instance. Now what we can do is we can say if main.get instance .get config .get int player.get name. Actually, we need to not use player here because we can't guarantee that the player will be online. We're gonna use a UID here. So if we can't, so if this is null, so if they have not voted this term, I guess you could say. Hold on. Okay, hold on. What would this be? Let's just say get. Then we're just gonna return 0. And then otherwise we're going to return this value here. Boom. So that is most likely always going to be 0 for now because we're not well. We can guarantee it's going to be 0 right now until we start modifying it. So we can say public void add vote UID. And now we can go ahead and say main.getInstance.getConfig.set UID.toString, comma, get votes UID, and then +1. And this will now add votes to this thing here. Now, I'm not sure if the console is going to have a UID, so I don't know exactly if this will work. But Well, actually, it might work. I don't think it will. Probably would have thrown some exceptions up here too, but I have no idea. But let's go ahead and say if player does not equal null, so if they are online, we're just going to go player.sendMessage, chat color.translate, and do all this fancy stuff here. We're going to get our vote prefix, and now we're going to say thank you for voting, exclamation point, you have voted, plus get votes UID times, and in parentheses, just to make sure that if it's 1, it won't look weird. You have voted that many times. Perfect. So now we can go ahead and reward them. So we could hook into. We can say let's make some examples here. Reward examples. Money. Items, ranks, maybe. That kind of thing. You can do anything you want here, because this is your play. This is where it gets customizable. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something kind of stupid. I kind of want to blow the player up, because I am an interesting soul. So what we're gonna do is we're going to say location equals equals player dot get location, and we can now go ahead and spawn some TNT. So we're gonna say primed. Is it TNT primed? It's I believe it is TNT primed. TNT primed. TNT equals location.getWorld.spawn entity at location, entity type dot TNT prime TNT. And now we actually have to cast that. So TNT primed. And now we can go ahead and set some stuff about this guy so it'll be really, really, really laggy probably. Maybe, I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and see what can we do here. So it has all of its default entity methods, but nothing more. Okay, so we're gonna change this up a little bit. We're gonna do lots of TNT. We're gonna go ahead and make a random method here. So a public location, or no, we can just do that in here. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, so we're actually gonna do for int I equals 0, I to 20. So we're gonna do 20 charges of TNT. There we go. So TNT dot set fuse ticks 0. Pretty sure that should make it blow up instantly. Well, really don't have to do that, but we can if we want. We'll just keep that there for now. Alright, so instead of this here, we're gonna say, well, first of all, we need a random. So well, actually, no. So we're not gonna instantiate a random every single time. That's a little unnecessary. We're gonna instantiate the random class once, and the TNT, of course, we have to instantiate this a lot so we can spawn the entity over and over and over. Well, actually, we really don't need to do that. We can just do this part, but that's okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say int x equals random.next int, and the bound is going to be location.get block x. Yeah. So that's the bound. Well, I'm not too sure how to completely randomize this. I guess we can kind of throw it everywhere. I guess we can do that. So let's just, instead of this random thing, we're still going to spawn a whole crap load of TNT. We're just going to do it in a random velocity. So TNT dot get location dot get direction dot multiply. No. Dot what would this be? Set set y. I said it's 2 or something like that. we actually need to do tnt.set direction. Wait, hold on. Set velocity, and then all this stuff here. So there we go. So yeah, that's gonna be a little weird, but it'll work. Right here, we actually need to save the config. So save config, and there we are. We have our beautifully made voting system. Oh man. Alright, let's go ahead. So we have our system here, and we need to go ahead and fire up an account. Because it takes in a location now. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. Kind of. It's complicated. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay. It doesn't exactly. It's not gonna do any of this stuff unless there's a player on. And by a player on, I mean me typing in the fake command. Alright, everyone. I kind of just died internally there. So let's go ahead and join the server now. Alright. So, oops, what the heck? Okay. Let's go ahead and fly up. And now what we're gonna say is we're gonna say fake vote. I'm not sure why that. Oh, it flew all the way over there. Oh, so okay, hold on. We gotta randomize the Z and the X too. If we want to make that right, but it did just like that. That's pretty cool. Oh man, just go ahead and launch this into the mountain. Boom. But you can see in there, it's saying we voted 1, 2, and 3. So we do have a config file. Of course, you can change it to like votes.yml with a different tutorial. But I mean, I just kind of was lazy and wanted to use the config file. But as you can see, oh, looks like console. Maybe console's an actual player, and that's why it registered it as 1 in there. Okay, I understand that now. But first of all, before we end off the tutorial, let's go ahead and make this a little bit random. tnt.set velocity, tnt.get location.get direction. Actually, let's just multiply it by like 2. I have no idea. It'll make it random, I think. It should. Alright, so when you vote on oops, what did I do? Oh, that was Votifier. Okay. So you know, when you vote on my server, you get to like get blown the heck up. And that really didn't work all that well. For whatever reason, it multiplied it the same every single time. I guess we are going to have to use a random. Equals. Okay, so go ahead and make your random object again. If you are going to do it this way, you can. Let's make an integer array of y, and that's going to be equal to, we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Instead of this here, we're going to say random dot next int by y dot length. Oh, we need to actually say y index of. There we go. All right, perfect. And then the multiply thing, I'm not sure how that will affect it, but it should make this should make it a little bit more interesting, in my opinion. This is probably gonna get really insane. So let's go ahead and move console over to my second window. Full screen Minecraft here, and prepare for the oh geez, which is dang. Is it seriously gonna do that again? For whatever reason, I'm not sure if it's like, that's odd. I have absolutely no idea why it's not, behavioring exactly like we want it to here. 20. We're not, so it's not the same entity every single time. Okay, what can we do here? Nothing. Oh wait, do we get our method? Yeah, so we can do stuff just by doing that, but This is a really odd. I'm not exactly sure why it's not working fully, but I mean, I guess that's not the purpose of the video. The purpose of the video is to show you how to make a voting reward system, and that's exactly what we did. So you can play around with the TNT thing more if you would like, but I probably won't work very well. So yeah, there we go. That's the system. I voted 22 times today. That's a little insane, but you know, pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Bukkit coding series. Make sure to leave a rating down below if you want to see more. And definitely go ahead and leave your comments as well for what I should do in the next episode. This episode's a kind of an hour to figure out what I should do. And I'm probably going to go like pre-record 1 or 2 more of these because I have a few more ideas that I want to kind of do. I also internally died there too. But as I was saying, there's a few more ideas I also want to get done. So I'm going to go do that now. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Take care. And one last thing I actually probably should have said, Happy New Year as well.